Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now it's been a while since I went over some of the Disney basics, and I've been on YouTube for a few years now, so I thought it would be good information for new people, or maybe a refresher if you haven't been to Disney in a while, to do a back to basics series. Basically, if you're not familiar with Disney, or if a lot has changed since you were last there, and a lot has been changing in the last few years, these series of videos will be for you. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about hotels, because I think that is the first place to start when planning a Disney trip. So the first thing to consider is on-site versus off-site. Now, I only book for clients that are staying on-site. I only ever stay on-site. I will never stay off-site for a number of reasons. One, I love to be fully immersed in the magic. You really realize that you are in a true Disney world. It's nice not to have to deal with traffic and seeing the rest of the real world and leaving property every day. Additionally, you get access to extra magic hours, which you don't get if you are off-site. You do not get complimentary magic bands if you are staying off-site. You cannot use Disney's Magical Express if you are staying off-site, and you cannot get a Disney dining plan if you are staying off-site. I'm sure there are many more things. Those are just things that come to mind now. Now, Disney has they have a ton of hotels actually, but they have a few categories of hotels that I'm going to talk about today. So they have values, moderates, deluxes, and then they have villas, which are part of the Disney Vacation Club property. So it's essentially a timeshare that people buy into. They are considered to be deluxe hotels, and you do not have to be a Disney Vacation Club member to stay in one of those properties. It's just that it opens up for Disney Vacation Club members first, and then you can opt to stay there and just pay like you normally would if you're not a Disney Vacation Club member. But usually people are staying in the values, moderates, and deluxes, so that's what I'm gonna focus on in this video. Now, one of the common questions I get is, what resort is most kid-friendly? They're all kid-friendly. Now, if you're familiar with Disney's philosophy, which I mentioned many times before, the whole reason Walt Disney created Disney World, and Disneyland, and then Disney World is because he wanted to experience things with his daughter. He was tired of taking her to amusement parks and sitting on a bench and watching her ride the rides. He wanted to be able to do everything together as a family. And if you've been to Disney, you know there really is only one age and everybody is a kid. So all resorts are kid-friendly. Growing up, my family always stayed at the Grand Floridian, and we stayed in the main building. And yes, I know how lucky I was because it is very expensive. And a lot of people think, oh, that's really fancy, or I have kids, I shouldn't stay there. Not true. We were loud and rambunctious. We ran through wearing shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops, and it was just fine. They expect and welcome children in all resorts, so don't worry about that. Now, cost, unfortunately, is what really determines a vacation for most people. We don't have unlimited sources of income, so I think that's really where people are going to start thinking about which hotels they want to stay in, is in terms of cost. That didn't really make, whatever, you know what I mean. So, okay, value resorts. So value resorts are going to be the least expensive resort, and the reason they're the least expensive is they have the least bells and whistles, not really a ton of flourishes. I guess that kind of goes along with bells and whistles. That the rooms there range from $130 a night to $210 a night. Now, the difference is going to determine what type of room you're staying in and what time of year you are going. But that's just a general, very general amount. So if you're going at Christmas time, it is going to cost more. So the value resorts are Pop Century, All-Star Music, All-Star Sports, and All-Star Movies, and Art of Animation. Now, in terms of prices, the All-Stars, generally speaking, for the same standard room are going to be the least expensive, and then Pop Century is going to be in the middle, and then Art of Animation is going to be the most expensive. Now, standard value resort rooms hold 4 people, ages 3 and up, plus 1 additional person under the age of 3 that would be in like a crib, pack and play type of thing. Now, in value resorts, they have, it's themed very nicely. We'll see if we can put in some pictures. My husband, in some pictures. I've stayed at Pop Century myself. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'll admit I was a little nervous because I had only at that point stayed at moderate and deluxe hotels, so I didn't know what to expect. very nice. You do not expect, the cleanliness will not be any less. You don't have to worry about that. But at value resorts, in the pools, they do not have water slides, and they do not have table service sit-down restaurants. They have a food court type of food gathering area. In terms of suites, they have family suites at All-Star Music, which can hold 6 people or less, I guess. And then they have family suites at Art of Animation. In that Art of Animation, they are themed to Lion King, Cars, and Finding Nemo. And like I said, Art of Animation is going to be more expensive. The other rooms at Art of Animation are the Little Mermaid standard rooms. And again, those hold 4 people plus 1 additional child under the age of 3. Now there are some other rooms that can alter the cost in terms of if it's a pool view room. In Pop Century specifically has more variation in their rooms. And preferred rooms. Preferred rooms guarantee you are in a building or a section of the building that is closer to the main building in food court, that type of thing. So those are the value resorts in a nutshell. Now moving on to moderate resorts, Disney has 4 moderate resorts. They are Port Orleans Resort Riverside, Port Orleans Resort French Quarter, which are technically the same resort, but think of them as 2. They're like sister resorts. Caribbean Beach Resort and Coronado Springs Resort. Now, the average, I would say, not average, generic general cost of standard rooms in the moderate resorts ranges from $260 to $280 a night. That being said, the wilderness cabins at Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground is also technically considered a moderate, and those are about $400 a night because they hold more people. They hold 6 people. And I forgot to mention the transportation from value resorts. So if you want to go from any of the all-star resorts to anywhere, do you want to go to a water park or Disney Springs or a theme park, you have to go by bus. If you're staying at Pop Century or Art of Animation, you can take the Skyliner, which just opened this past fall. You can take the Skyliner to Epcot, to the World Showcase entrance of Epcot, and to Hollywood Studios. If you want to go to Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom or either of the water parks or Disney Springs, you have to take a bus. For the moderate resorts, if you want to go to the Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom, you have to take a bus anywhere. At Port Orleans Resort Riverside, Port Orleans Resort French Quarter, and Coronado Springs Resort, you also have to take a bus to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. But from Caribbean Beach Resort, you can go to Hollywood Studios and Epcot by the Skyliner, but you have to take a bus everywhere else. Now, the moderate resorts are a little bit nicer. You're gonna notice they have water slides by their pools. They typically have sit-down restaurants with the exception of Port Orleans Resort French Quarter, but they have beignets, so I think it more than makes up for it. And you'll just notice the landscaping it's just nicer. I don't know how else to explain it. There's more landscaping. It's a step up. But again, the difference in cleanliness and service really shouldn't be a difference. You're not going to expect to have a cleaner room at a moderate than you do at a value. Moving on to deluxes. There are a lot of deluxe resorts. There are a lot of rooms in the deluxe resorts. So I would say the prices start at $400 a night and up. Now, the least expensive of the value resorts is, and again, this is going to vary depending on what type of room you get, but typically that is Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge. And then I would say the most expensive ones are going to be the monorail resorts, which are the Polynesian Village Resort, the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, and the Contemporary Resort. Now, if you want to walk to the Magic Kingdom, your only option is to stay at the Contemporary. That is your only option. If you're staying at the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, you can take a boat or monorail to the Magic Kingdom. If you are staying at Wilderness Lodge, you can take a boat or bus to Magic Kingdom. And everywhere else, you're going to take a bus to the Magic Kingdom. So you get to Epcot. For the Contemporary and Polynesian Village and Grand Floridian, you can take the monorail to the Transportation and Ticket Center and then change monorails to go to Epcot. Everywhere else, I take that back. Animal Kingdom Lodge and then Wilderness Lodge, you'll take a bus to Epcot. And then if you're staying at one of the Epcot resorts, which include the Boardwalk Inn and the Yacht Club and the Beach Club, you can walk to the back at World Showcase entrance of Epcot, or you can walk to Hollywood Studios. And then the other aforementioned hotels, you would walk to Hollywood Studios. Now, these hotels are definitely considered more luxury. they have at least one table service restaurant, if not two. They have a quick service restaurant. Something I didn't mention about the moderates is they often do have a food court as well. Sometimes you'll have a quick service restaurant. So for example, at Port Orleans French Quarter, they have a food court, and then they have a separate quick service restaurant just serving beignets. Oh my gosh, you guys, you have to go get them. But yeah, the deluxes, you'll typically have more than one pool. Again, you're gonna have water slides. The theming, there's just much more theming. In terms of, in addition to like the extra amenities, you are also going to have larger square footage. So with the exception of the suites, obviously the suites are gonna be bigger in any category. The moderates are gonna be bigger than the values, and the deluxes are gonna be bigger than the moderates. Another thing people often ask me about is when they can get a discount. And I always say discounts are becoming few and far between, and even when they are offering discounts, they're so extremely limited. So do not plan a trip hoping for a discount. Just consider it to be a pleasant surprise. Now, to enhance your chances of getting a discount, you can let me know that you are willing to be flexible. Do not plan your trip around major holidays. Plan your trip when school is in session, because you're more likely to get a discount then. Disney offers discounts to get people on property, and around holidays and when school is out is the busiest time for them, so there's really no incentive to have a discount. Another thing I wanted to mention is another comment I get from people is, we want to be close to everything. Can't do it. You cannot be close to everything. Disney World is huge. It is absolutely massive. If you're close to one thing, you're further from something else. So if you are staying at the Contemporary, you're within walking distance of the Magic Kingdom, you are then far away from Animal Kingdom. If you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're obviously closer to Animal Kingdom, but you're further away from the Magic Kingdom. So you cannot be close to everything. If something like that is super important to you, I would recommend just looking at a map of Disney World and kind of seeing where things are. But it really is not possible to be close to everything, but it's not necessary because the Disney transportation really is very good. Speaking of transportation, I wanted to mention cars. So all of the Disney hotels allow you to take the complimentary Disney's Magical Express. However, for one reason or another, some people may want to drive or they may want to rent a car. I should mention Magical Express only serves MCO, Orlando International Airport. You cannot utilize Disney's Magical Express if you are flying into Sanford or some other airport, like Miami, and then drive all the way up. So vehicles, if you choose to rent or drive, know that there is a fee per night to park at the hotel. Now, if you're staying at a Disney hotel, you can either use the complimentary Disney transportation, or you can drive your vehicle or your rental vehicle to the theme park, water park, Disney Springs, whatever. It's free to park at Disney Springs, I should mention. But in terms of parking at the other locations, if you're staying in a Disney hotel, you do not have to pay for parking at the park. If you're staying off site, you have to pay for parking at the parks. But if you're staying on site, you do not have to. You just have to pay for parking at your hotel. And the reason they know you're parking is because you have to use your magic band to get the gate to open to park your vehicle. Another question is how long to stay, and that I think is really going to be determined by how many days you want to stay in the parks. It used to be you could stay for 5 or 6 days and see everything. That is not the case anymore. There is so much to do that if you're staying for less than a week, it is a short trip. For us, I think last time I stayed for 5 or 6 nights, and it was a very short trip for us. And we've been there and we know what things we want to do every time, what things we can skip and whatever. But really, you need to stay for no less, for sure, at least 6 nights, because there's just so much to do. Okay, so that is really quick, in a nutshell, Disney basics, how to pick a resort, and just some facts about the resorts. Like I said, I've now stayed in all 3 categories of hotels, and I certainly have my favorites, but I have never stayed in one that I think is terrible, and I will always stay on site just because the benefits I think are so fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I will talk to you next time. Bye guys.